love to start 4 o'clock on the dot. We're getting ready. A couple of people are joining here in Zoom. A few people are joining on LinkedIn for round two with Alan of email reviews, your email reviews. Alan, we did this event with Alan some time ago. It was super cool. One of my favorite ones. Alan in general is one of my favorite ones. And now I think like it was so good that we should do round two for that. And yeah, man, so excited to have you here one more time.
I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for all these beautiful words. Not even my girlfriend treats me like you, man. So I appreciate it, and I'm super happy to review a couple of emails with you.
Yeah, man. um, Before we start, I just wanted to say, like, I don't know, anything has changed since the last time we met. We met a couple of months ago. Maybe you're up to something new, running with some project, maybe doing some stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you for giving me this space. I wasn't expecting that, but now that you're mentioning for sure, yeah. I've been working in a couple of new stuff. So for everyone that is seeing here, that is watching us right now, you can join my new and latest launch. That is my own company. But besides that, that is not the relevant stuff. It's my own and first digital product called the Modern Seller. So if you go alanrudstein.com or directly into my LinkedIn, and you will find all the information there. You can join the waitlist, the early bird access that will be next week with a lot of benefits, bonuses, and some cool stuff. So I'm super excited. I've been thinking about doing this for last year, and I started like 3 months ago. So yeah, that's basically my news. And thank you very much, man, for giving me the answer,
Yeah, man.
the
Three
the the
months.
place. Yeah,
3 months of hard work. It's a lot of top values you gained from you,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy. And you're
Honest.
doing your stuff as well with Swipely and so on. So you're not
Yeah,
behind.
yeah. I'm just just trying to stay on the pace with you, man.
Active. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah. All right. Before we dive into the reviews, I just want to kind of give like a few agenda points and what are we up to. But at first, I just want to give a shout out to Woodpecker, basically the tool that is kind of bringing us, me and Alan here to today, and giving this event for free. Woodpecker is a cold email tool. Basically, if you guys are sending cold emails and want to make sure that every cold email lands in the primary inbox, Woodpecker is the tool to check. Here, for everyone participating in this event, we've got a specific link that takes you for basically a month of trial for free, which is like, hey, keep play for a month, send your emails, book some meetings, and we're going to show you what to do if you want to book some meetings. So please see in the chat here the link for the trial. Give it a go. And without further ado, let's dive into the agenda. So what we're going to do, basically, we're going to give our opinions on the emails that we're seeing here. Also, at the end, we have one email that we are considering okay, and we're going to also review that. But and if you had time at the end for some questions, if you got some questions from your side, we're going to answer those. But the thing that you all guys came here for are for the cold email reviews, and this is what we're going to deliver. And without further ado, let's go into it. So our first cold email is an interesting one, but I think it's a quite okay, I would say, message. So let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. What do we have here? All right. So subject line, Princeton alumni reach out. Hey, Yuri, this is Craig from McFadden, fellow Princeton alum in marketing. I recently created a referral system to help companies like Woodpecker get customers at a 7x ROI. Would love to hop on a call if you're up to connect. Let me know. Thanks. All right, Alan, what are your thoughts on that? Are you yawning because it's so boring?
No. I was coughing, not not doing that.
Okay.
So, but that's a good sign of if your email excites you or not. I like this new way that you and Woodpecker are doing things regarding the checklist, so you can compare things in real time. I like that. I have mixed feelings here, to be straightforward, giving my reviews. I like it and I don't like it that much at the same time. Because of the following reasons. Let me try to put my bias away and my background away and give my objective reasons. Regarding subject line, I don't think it's that bad. Princeton alumni reach out. It's relevant to then what this guy is talking about or where is he coming from. So at least it's giving me some I don't know, some curiosity about what's in it. I'm not sure if it is the best subject line because it has nothing to do with the referral system or what he's going to sell me later on. But okay, I will make it pass. McFadden 18, not sure what that means. Maybe it's the last name with the 18 there. So, or 18th century, I don't know. That's curious, to be honest. Maybe it sounds like a really yeah, curious way to present yourself. And then I recently created the referral program. This is straightforward, like the pitch. This is what I did. This is what I created, and I think that I can help your company as well, or a referral company for companies like you. I'm not sure if this is real because you are not giving me any sense of what is the referral program about, how does it work, the 7x ROI, how do you measure that? I mean, it's kind of super superficial at some point or high level. It's okay if you just started and if you're in college, that's the only thing that you have. I completely get that as well. That's why I'm saying that I have like these mixed feelings. But if I go straight forward to, hey, would I reply this email? And that's the final question or the first question that I always ask to myself when I'm writing an email saying, hey, would I reply to this email? Is this email relevant enough? Is this email getting your attention? The answer would be no at this point. Maybe in the follow-ups, I'm not sure. But up to this first email, the answer would be no. And mainly because of the last call to action, that is directly, hey, let's jump into a call. So I would try to give something beforehand, even more in those cases where you have nothing at the beginning. So give me a little bit of value or some interesting topics that I can feel related to. And from there, we can move on. Despite that, the positive feedback, and with this I will conclude, the structure is okay in terms of length. It's easy to scan, it's easy to read. I mean, it doesn't take too much of your brain energy to understand what's going on here. But those are my feelings at this point.
Yeah, I'm the same with you here. Like, I like that this is a shorter email. Like, shorter is nice. It's nothing against that. So we also have something like relevant, like, hey, I'm alum as well. If I guess he misspelled that Princeton 18 alum instead of McFadden 18. But so I myself received such emails where also alums of a fellow programs that I used to like participate when I was younger reached out to me, and it helps to stand and break through all the noise. I'm not gonna lie, that does the job. But just based on that alone, I will not book a call. Like, I do have a lot of friends that kind of, let's say, like, people that I know reaching out to me right now that we used to be together in student organizations, and they were like, hey man, what's up? Like, congrats on your growth on LinkedIn, super cool to see you in all the rankings. Hey, listen, I need this for you. I need you to post this on your LinkedIn. I need you to catch up with you for 30 minutes. Like, hey, chill, guys. Like, the time that I have right now is super limited. And it's not like I'm being a bad person or kind of, I'm not looking to you. But it's literally, it's so full right now that the time is pretty much the only thing that I got right now, like the most valuable thing. I need to be super strategic with that because it's already so many responsibilities. So when someone asks me for, like, such a high effort as thing, it's an automatic no for me. No, I'm not gonna even do that.
I agree.
Also, what's missing here is context. This is the problem with shorter emails. I always feel like when people try to keep it short, and even if they want to start like, hey, I know you, man, they miss the important information, like the cost effect relation. Like, okay, cool, you created a company, like you created a referral system. All right, cool. Like, companies like Woodpecker get a 7x ROI. That's a quite a big promise. So that's always what I say, like, people don't make big promises. You need to over deliver, actually. Just like, make it like, if you can do an actual 7x ROI, and if you did for one client, don't say 7x ROI. Say we'll help you do like 33% better, and then do a 7x ROI, and you'll have a satisfied customer, because 33% increase is much more believable than 7x ROI of it. So yeah, so that's one thing. And also it's missing the information. Okay, what did they done? How did you implement that? Is it time consuming to implement that? Similar companies like Woodpecker. Okay, cool. What are the companies? Can you mention them or not? Because different people react differently, but all up to mentioning. Like, if is it my competitor or not? And then when it comes to a CTA, I would prefer much rather like a, hey, would insights on how they were able to achieve that be useful, than rather just hop on a call. Because like you're saying that you did 7x ROI, just show them, hey, this is how. I'd love to show you how they've done that, if that's even like a priority for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just one thing regarding I'm stick with the 18 here, and I agree with you with all the rest. If you see the signature is Craig McFadden 18. So I don't know. I
Oh,
like it. I like that. I'm thinking about, jokes aside, I'm thinking about putting Alan Ruchstein 21. I don't know, something like that. Maybe spark some
feel,
curiosity in my emails as well.
feeling like royalty, Alan.
Exactly.
I
All
feel
right.
like when you
No.
pull this kind of 18, maybe he's saying that this is my age, but if you're pulling this kind of 18, you should start your email with like, thy highness, or something like that, with the Royal British language.
Exactly. All right.
All right.
No, but I agree
And
with you.
yeah, before we move on, just a quick test of our checklist here from the side, just to kind of give a grade to this email so we understand. So no selling. Um,
Kind of.
in
But
turn,
yeah.
kind of, it's 50-50, but let's say we give
Yeah.
it a point. We give it a point. All right.
I like that.
Email preview test. This is a Craig McFadden. I don't think it passes the preview test. It starts with like,
No.
hey, this is me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Front loaded for a sentence. Not really front loaded for a sentence. Relevant and personalized. 50-50. I would say,
Yeah,
like,
give it a go. Yeah.
let's be generous today.
Yeah.
What's in it from the prospect stands out.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Social
Social
proof.
proof, kind of, but it's still vague social proof. So I don't know if we should give a point to that. But let's give it a point. Okay, let's give it a point.
Okay. Sometimes you even don't have a social proof, just a sample test when you started, and it's tough, to be honest, when you're starting like that.
Yeah. Value over features. I mean, it is kind of here. It shows that, 7x ROI compared to features. So can do it. Interest best CTA.
Not at all.
Maybe.
Or
Maybe. No,
maybe,
not
but
at
yeah,
all. All right.
I mean, it's
I
not
don't
into
know.
space. It's
So
jumping
we
to a
gave a
call.
couple of passes. We gave a couple of
Yeah.
passes. So let's not give it this one this time. Okay, read it out. Read it out loud test. Does it feel normal? Okay, this is the test, guys, that I always recommend before you send an email. Like, just read your email out loud, actually out loud, just to see if that's something that it even sounds closely to you. Because oftentimes what people write doesn't really have a flow. It doesn't sound well, and this is like creates the friction process, especially with this Craig McFadden 18th.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a short. It's okay. So it's kind of like a 5 out of 10 email, I'd say. So it's definitely can be improved.
Yeah.
It's not that bad,
No.
but let's see if any emails are better than that.
I've seen worse than this one, so it's not that bad. And I don't know, if I don't want to interrupt. You are the manager and the leader here, but there are some questions. Maybe we leave them for the end, right? Or
The questions right now. All right, let's go maybe.
as you prefer.
All right. Would you write the email so that the question is from LinkedIn. Would you write an email to a prospect in an industry which has multiple competitors? Yes, I would. I would
Like how
definitely.
would you? Sorry to interrupt you in here.
How
It's
would
like,
I?
how
How
would
would
you?
I
Yeah,
write?
exactly. How would you do that? For instance, in SaaS, that you have a lot of competitors or competition, and how would
I
you make
just,
that cold prospect to respond as a follow-up question?
so it's all about building trust. and you start as a seller, as basically a stranger, as a spammer, and your role is to build trust as quickly as possible if you want to have any sort of response. What builds trust is your understanding of the business. You really got to understand who are their closest competitors, because I'm sure, Alan, you did receive a bunch of those emails, me as well, where they're like, hey, we know your competitor are Google, HubSpot, Pipedrive. And you're like, not at all. They're not my competitors. So you really got to understand who is the main competitor, the closest kind of compared to. The best tip for that, just go for the reviews tools and see like kind of, negative stars, 3 stars reviews, comparisons. What are the tools I'm most likely compared to? See the strong sides of the tool. So let's say Woodpecker. Woodpecker is another sales enablement platform, basically the tool that allows you to send cold emails. There are a bunch of those right now. So you cannot say that Woodpecker strictly competes with Zoom Info, because Zoom Info does have some features maybe to send those messages, but it's not mainly known for that. The same goes for HubSpot. HubSpot is like an all-in-one solution, but it's not the biggest threat or like the biggest competitor, I would say, out there. We need to really understand who are the competitors that maybe are emerging currently right now, having a buzz, and are really tailored, and kind of leading from that perspective. And also just try to understand what's the challenge right now, what's the push. For smaller companies that are not public, it's kind of harder to find that information. For public companies, it's easier. But just go that extra mile. Try to understand what's the push right now in that company. Maybe there are some communities that are discussing these tools, trying to understand what are the negative points, what are the positive points, and kind of lead with that information, synthesize that. And I think you'll have a better chance of booking that meeting. Yeah. So my question for this, Alan, maybe this one is for you. How would you make a cold prospect to respond?
Yeah, I think it's the follow-up question from the previous one, and I pretty agree with you, man. I think that we have the same mindset regarding cold emails and how to write them. The only thing that I can add or complement to what you just mentioned is more in the mindset thing, that it's guys, sellers right now are more comfortable pushing the button and sending a lot of emails instead of just picking up the phone or using another channel. So if you want to stand out in a huge crowded space like SaaS, for example, and if you want your email to get somehow at least a reply, either a no or a yes, but something that you can work on later on, not just a ghosting email, or no one answering to you, you need to do that extra mile. And that extra mile means going to G2 and understand the reviews, go to the customer stories of those companies, understand if there are some buying intents or triggers or signals that you can use in your favor, like new leadership. Basically going into Sales Navigator and all the filters regarding data intent, understand those and how they work and the behind the reasoning about them, and use them in your favor to write an email that will be relevant and human. We are not saying in every email, and this is where I see that it's happening the most, hey, we can help you save time and money or make your process more efficient, or help you solve your bottlenecks and your inefficiencies. Yes, those are amazing words that I will be using with my mom or my dad when I have to convince them to do something, right? But when you are sending a CFO or a CTO saying, hey, we can help you solve your inefficiencies and make your process more optimized, that's BS at some point, right? So talk me about the problem, talk me about what you did as a research, be different from the other 100 emails that I receive every day, and make it to the point. Most of the cases, you won't receive a reply in the first email, but you will in the third one. And that's why the second part of the answer would be, hey, how would you make a cold prospect to respond? Follow up relentlessly, right? Never stop. For sure, you don't have to send 25 follow-up emails saying, hey, did you miss my email, or I don't have an answer from you. But if you are adding value, and if you connect the dots between the first email, the second email, the third email, and the fourth email, there are more chances, or it's more likely that the prospect that get back to you, for sure.
Yeah, brilliantly said, man. What I would just add regarding the follow-ups, I've noticed that the old days of kind of having a sequence days for follow-ups, like I'll follow up every 3 days and kind of boom, 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 boom. Those days are kind of gone. Right now, you need to constantly keep following up, but without annoying those people. I've spoke with many multi, like, $1 million CEOs, $1 billion CEOs. They all ditch emails and like block or ghost when people get too arrogant or too kind of pushy for a sale. You just need to stay on top of mind, figure out a way how to do that. And the best way I've noticed is just, be present there for like 2 weeks with 2 or 3 emails, leave them alone for another 2 weeks, follow up one more time, and then kind of follow up, like, just kind of accelerate, decelerate, detach, and kind of attach yourself. Just keep following up. As soon as you see something is happening, interesting, some news, follow up. It means that you'll follow up maybe today, then in another 2 weeks you're quiet, then you'll follow up maybe in a month one more time. And just need to stay on top of mind, because things don't change that quick in a week. Maybe things will not change. So yeah. All right, let's go for this email.
Let's go. Should I
I
should I read it? Should I read it or it's
you
all yours?
you can go. You can go if you want to.
All right. So, simplifying financial planning for busy physicians. Okay. Dear Dr. Smith. Okay, I cannot even start with this, but let's do it. Dear Dr. Smith, I hope this email finds you well. Managing a successful medical practice is demanding, leaving little time to focus on your personal finances. That's where Infinite Wealth Financial comes in. At Infinite Wealth Financial, we specialize in helping physicians like yourself navigate complex financial landscapes, ensuring that your wealth grows as steadily as your career. Whether it's planning your retirement, managing investments, or minimizing taxes, our tailored financial strategies are designed to give you peace of mind and more time to focus on what you do best, caring for your patients. Would you be open to a brief call to discuss how we can support your financial goals? I'm confident that our approach can bring significant value to your financial planning. Looking forward enthusiastically, XYZ. I will leave the stage to you. Just one thing that I want to mention, if you allow me. I just said 1 second ago, we don't need to send, besides all the other topics that we're going to cover, emails that will say, we can help you save time and money so you can focus on what you like. I mean, that has nothing to do with how you can help me, right? And this is exactly one of the examples, but we will get there in a moment. So all yours.
Yeah. So without going too hard on this email, I would love to point out that I don't have in context which country are you sending it to. I also know that in doctors in the medical kind of field, there is this kind of hierarchy that they love to hear, like with pleasantries and stuff like this. But here's what I will say that might not come so intuitive for some people. You're gonna be way more respectful if you're gonna make it super clear to understand what you can deliver to them right now. And you need to make sure that you're kind of well timing your email. That's way more respectful than using all of those pleasantries, such as, I hope this email finds you well, and ending emails enthusiastically. It's kind of maybe the first time I've seen that email ends with enthusiastically. I don't know about you, man, but
Same, yeah.
what I would say here is, I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to go kind of problem, segue to a problem, what we can deliver. I would love to help with you on the call. Here's kind of the problem that I have with this email. It's a lot of filler words that are making it super hard to understand what you want. Like, I don't need you to mention twice the company name in a matter of few seconds. Then kind of, financial planning here, financial planning, um, financial landscapes. So like, it's a lot of like financial strategies. It's a lot of those things that you're mentioning here are could be said way better if you know like the rules of storytelling. I would much rather like hear a short story like, Dear Dr. Smith, and then I would need to start like some starting point. Either if I can find anything about Dr. Smith, I would try to use that in the opener. If I cannot find anything, like I've literally searched the internet, or the option B, which is more realistic, I'm too lazy to do that stuff. The other, you just go for like a lower performance levels of cold email, and you start with kind of a use case and just give a story of how you helped a similar doctor, which is a similar position and similar to him, just in a different county. Make sure that he's got, like, he finally starts, like, just tell it in a story how you help him minimize taxes. Like, we've showed the doctor from California the way how he was able to save this amount of much of money in the first year alone on taxes and spend that money on going on a couple of new cruise trips. And that alone is more interesting than you just kind of showing whether it's planning for retirement, managing investments and stuff like that. Show some real stories if you don't have anything, because that's the second best thing to go with.
Yes. From my side, just to add something, this line, I don't know if you can see what what I'm highlighting here. Can you? I'm trying to do the same as you, and I like that. So basically, every time that you use, so I don't repeat ourselves, and repeat what you just mentioned. I agree with the example storytelling. I think storytelling and copywriting for the new SDRs or the new sellers is like, I mean, those skills are massive to stand out, because basically it touch an emotion when you're reading something, and that's how you make people to move or to take action, either to reply or to take action in whatever you want. That being said, I'm confident that our approach can bring significant value, blah blah blah. All this stuff is it's not checked still. I mean, you telling me that you are the best is like me telling you that I love Messi and I play football like him. I mean, you can believe me or you can't. I mean, but it's not legit at some point. So avoid this phrase, save a couple of words for another sentence, and that would be better. And then what I was saying regarding saving time and money, or saving time, here is like, whether it's planning for, and here you are mentioning like 3 or 4 things at the same time. So that means that you are either trying to pitch everything that you're doing, and I need to feel related to some of them, or you didn't do the research that you should be doing. So try to tackle one thing at a time, something that I can feel related to. Again, I completely agree with you. Maybe in this space, in a specific country, for these kind of doctors, we need to be more professional in the way that we speak, and that's perfect to have it in mind, because everyone is totally different, not only the people but also the industries. But then the psychology is the same, and that's what I always say. Psychology is exactly the same. So if you are basically following this, the chances of getting a better email, it's way higher, and the responses are in terms of chances are higher than just sending, hey, this is my company, this is what we do, we can help you so you can take time with your patients. I'm super confident that we can do it. And while I'm seeing this email, I can see we, our, I don't like that. Talk about me, don't talk a lot about you. So that would be my addition here.
Yeah, and doctors love when anyone loves when you talk about them. So that's way better way to say that you're respectful than just enthusiastically ending your emails. All right, let's then figure out what should we give this email. I don't think it'll score too high, but in general, bad preview test, a lot of selling, not front loaded sentence. I don't know if not relevant. It doesn't stand out. You don't have a social proof.
Exactly.
Features over value. I'm confident. Would you be open to a brief call to discuss how we support your? Let's give just at least 1 point, maybe, and other ones it doesn't really pass. So just see that sometimes it feels like an okay email, but when you just have a checklist and you try to kind of grade it there, then you really start realizing like, oh yeah, I have so much stuff that I need to change here.
Mm-hmm. The checklists are yeah, so powerful. Like, reread it out loud and understand it. Ask yourself, hey, is this worth clicking send or not? Because if your manager tells you to send more emails and you're just doing it because you have to do it, at the end of the day, we are shooting ourselves in the feet, right? Like, it's like, okay, I did the activity level because I click on the bottom, but I have 0 replies. So focus on the inputs, but also in the outputs, in the quality, in the relevance, how you're doing it, and all the process as well.
Yeah. Some managers still think that outbound is just a numbers game. You just need to like, increase the output to have the better results. Well, you can prove them wrong that by actually just decreasing your sending number of emails
Absolutely.
and just making sure that those 20 messages that you're sending are super intentional, you can actually book way more meetings.
I agree. For sure, it's a numbers game because the chances, I mean, that's statistics, right? If you send more, you have more chances. But if you send more BS, if we don't, if we are not allowed to say bad wording here, if you send more
Oh, we can say,
BS,
we can say, we can say.
I mean, if those emails are shit, at the end of the day, nothing will happen, right? So, but
True.
yeah, activity level, it's a tricky KPI to measure just activity level. So. Maybe in 2019
Honestly,
this worked, but yeah, not now.
honestly, I still think a lot of activity numbers are coming from the big agencies because this is how they operate. They just blast
Yeah,
emails. They just
yeah.
blast emails and stuff like that. And unfortunately, there's not a lot that you can change there because they're all using the same tools like Clay, trying to be more relevant, but still they blast emails. And if you guys really want to stand out, understand this, that you're fighting against thousands of people who are sending millions of emails. I recently saw an agency founder sending 7 million emails in the campaign.
What?
So
But there's
yeah,
not enough emails to that or domains to
well,
do
he found
that.
it. He found it. And he booked like, I don't know, 100 meetings out of it, but I don't think it's a good return on investment from 7 million.
No.
So yeah, but for an agency customer, hey, we booked you 100 meetings in a year. I don't know if that's good. All right, let's move on for the next one.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I think it's a little bit better one from the like my gut feeling, but let's get into it. Delinquency analysis.
Okay.
First name, lack of credit history, physical collaterals, and minimal digital footprints are key challenges for SMBs, making them less preferred customers at banks. Company name aims to bridge the credit gap for the underserved to access the tailored credit products with our configuration-driven platform, managed service, and augmented credit solutions. You can manage end-to-end loan processing and optimize the improvements without extra costs while leveraging in adjacently with your legacy system. Would you like to see a demo? Yeah, it sounded promising from the beginning when I just kind of had a look at it, but then, so Alan, do you want to start or
Yes, I can
shall
go.
I
I can
go?
go, and I will try to be super. Yeah, I can try to summarize everything here. So delinquency analysis, I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, it's intriguing at least. Then you need to combine this with the copy for sure and the tech and the body. But I like that. I would open the email. Yeah. Then first name, lack of credit history. I mean, the first paragraph. Um, the disclaimer that I would do here is that if those are the real symptoms and the real challenges that the people or the buyer persona that he or she is targeting in these emails are really going through, then I will give it a thumbs up. Like, hey, if you feel related to this specific topic because your solution tackled this problem, and me as a whoever I am, I know that I have a lack of credit or I don't have collaterals or digital footprints, and I know that that's a challenge then to go and ask for a loan in the bank, for example, then that's okay. Yeah, this is something that could be interesting, at least to keep reading. So if that's the case, then I know that there are some room for improvements here because this guy is mentioning a lot of topics at the same time, but could have the green light. The problem that I'm facing here, or my biggest struggle here, is after that once you get my attention, you are pitching me in a super technical way. Besides, I'm coming from a fintech industry and the financial industry, so we understand what this is about. But at some point, it's super, super, super technical, and you're not saying, "Hey, Alan, you know what? If this is a problem for you, this is what we do, and this is how we solve that problem. Would you mind checking it out?" Right? Like, make it easier, right? Here you're telling me that you breached the credit gap with underserved to access the tailored credits with configuration driven and augmented credit solutions, and then end-to-end loan processing. Maybe if I'm not needing the full end-to-end and all this fancy wording, I would say, you know what, this push me back because I just need something that can help me solve my lack of credit history. If you would be more simple in that sense, I would buy, I would say, right? Um, so there's no value for me here, more features and product focused than value. And would you like to see a demo? Yeah, it's not that bad. I would, in this case, to give a rewrite, I would change it for keeping the other exactly the same. In this case, I would say like, hey, would you like to see how we can do that for you? Would you like to check following the same CPA, right? Like I would do it a little bit different. But yeah, so I have these mixed feelings. I would make it a little bit shorter. I would try to avoid all the fancy and unnecessary information, and I would talk about one of the benefits of solving the problems that you mentioned in the first paragraph.
Yeah, like I feel like it's too overloaded with information that it's kind of hard to process at the first reading. Credit history, physical collaterals, and then you kind of go underserved access to tailored credit products with a configuration-driven program, and then processing and optimize improvements, kind of saying everything and nothing. It's all about feature slap. I would just go with something like, fairly short and simple. So I once received an email. So, and I actually worked with a client. He was an accountant, and basically what he'd done, we started sending cold emails, and we started emails with like, hey, tax day, like, tax days, like, taxes are in 12 weeks. Are you making sure like you have everything set up from your local accountant? The reason why I ask is that I often see that some people are like, not understanding that you can defer quite a lot of their like income from taxes. Like this is how we help a similar accountant from this county as your to save $50,000. I'm just curious if that's like, and that's it. That's like, that was the whole message. It was clear to understand what you can do here. And also in the messages where we're talking about, let's say, money and stuff like that, always try to give cost of inaction, what it would be if you not take it. Just don't say like, we'll help you be eligible for, I don't know, 100,000. Say that, hey, we can make sure that you don't miss out 100,000 from your next like from the bank loan that you will need at some point. Reframe it a little bit in the way to show that, kind of open that FOMO, the fear of missing out. And just make it super easy and clear. Don't overload, don't feature slap. Just kind of ask for this thing. Hey, do you even need that? So the next time you won't miss out on the 100K loan for a business expansion. And that's it.
I love it,
So
man. Just one last thing that I would love to add here. I know that we are going over time a little bit, but it's exactly what you just mentioned, and I love the example that you put. That it's, hey, we are not selling. Remember this, guys. Whenever you're sending even more in the first email, you don't have to sell. There's no way that never ever, but not even more in these days, you are going to close a deal in just one email. So don't put everything over the table in the first email. Don't sell in the first email. The only thing that you want in the first email is to get a reply. So with this example that you're mentioning, Yuri, like, hey, uh, there are 10 weeks over before presenting taxes. This is what's going on. I'm just curious if you are all aligned with your accountant because blah, 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 right? So that's sparking my curiosity. That says, hey, you know what? Maybe I should double check if everything is okay. If not, I should reach out to you so I can save that money that I'm about to lose. And that's the FOMO that you're generating. So to add it, never try to sell everything in the first email. You're not selling, you're just getting people excited about what you have to tell them.
yeah, and from a psychology point, what you're saying is super legit, because people like, the number one deal killer is the desperation. Number two is neediness. It's like psychology thing. Whenever you're desperate, people tend to go away from it. Like you never saw it's the kind of this rule when people say like, hey, there's a girl working in the room, 10 guys are following her, and she's gonna fall for a guy who's not even looking at her. This kind of the same thing here. People always tend to go with the people who are not needy and not desperate in them. This is how you kind of build the mutual levels of respect.
Awesome.
All right, let's go for grading this message, and it's a little bit better. I like the subject line. I'm gonna give it that. I like the subject line. The preview test, it kind of starts as a typical marketing newsletter outreach, like, hey, John, and kind of blah, 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 blah. I don't know about that. I would say that the subject line is good. First sentence, it's still a little bit too marketing like for me. So I wouldn't say it's loaded sentence. I don't even know if that's personalized and relevant. It's just kind of, hey, if you want that, we can give you that. But I'll say that it's a little bit clearer what you're doing that compared to other emails. So I'll give that. There's no social proof here. There's value. There are features over value, and there's interest-based CTA. I don't know if it passes read it out loud test, and I don't know if it's a short, especially under 6th grade reading level. So we end up with a 3 out of 10 for this email.
All right. I have a question for you, Yuri, that it's coming from the public people here, if you want.
All right, let's go.
It's how would you be able basically to exactly point out the pain point the prospect faces without getting in touch with him over cold email? Because they won't expose everything publicly, right? I'm not sure if I'm getting the question.
Yeah, so
but yeah.
this is kind of the thing which usually is the trouble. Like, how do you understand what company is going through right now without calling to them, without finding out? So there are a couple of ways of doing that. The first is the industry, what's going on in the industry and working with the clients. Just like if you are working with the clients like that, if you're seeing what they're experiencing. So let's say I'll give a little bit like a recent example. Last week, Google introduced some changes which does not allow you to track open rates properly anymore. So we kind of have to, all of those sending tools for cold emails all of a sudden have to figure out how do you track open rates properly. And this is the industry news. And then you can reach out to some companies, let's say like Woodpecker, and say like, hey guys, figured out yet how to track the open rates? Or like, hey, I can help you figure out how to track the open rates. I've cracked the code for my site. That is the relevant opener based from the industry observation. There's the second round. Second round is basically figuring out who's the decision maker and leaving that person out for not contacting it yet. Going below the line, seeing just who is a fellow sales rep from that company, and just reach out to that person and say like, hey man, like let's say Alan is that sales rep. Alan, listen, I've got only one shot prospecting your company. I know you're a fellow SDR. You understand how tough it is right now in this market. Lunch is on me. Your next lunch is on me. If you just give me one sentence answer, what's one of your top priorities right now for this for Q3? That's it. And kind of follow up a couple of times. And there's like, hey, like, I don't know, Alan doesn't respond to me for the second time. It's like, hey, Alan, I know you're busy in the trenches, like I am myself. But just I'd really appreciate your SDR help. Just one thing, like, here are the 3 things that I'm observing right now in the industry. Any one of those are relevant to what you guys are struggling with. And do that, then figure out the information that you have out of here and come back to the decision maker.
Loved it. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, let's go to another
we have
one.
15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, we do have 15 minutes. I think we'll just do one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we can do one more and then jump into Q&As or something like
that. All right. Java engineer opening. Alan, do you want to read it out? Or
yeah, I read it and you start. Yeah. Java engineer opening. So I hope all is well. I noticed that Oracle has a Java software engineer opening and thought we might be able to connect on this role. I recently spoke with a few candidates who have similar experience and active clearances. Do you have some time over the next week or two to connect? Thanks. All right.
I can start if you want, because I
Sure,
actually
go
helped
ahead.
clients with similar emails.
Go
Done
ahead.
some job for that. So it's not specific, although you're kind of starting with the research that, hey, I have this role, I have few people, I know that it from the start it has like a perfect cold email if you just kind of look at that. But the more you look into it, the more you understand that it lacks necessary details. First of all, what Alan said, all eyes. I hope, I noticed, I recently. Um, that's out of the bed. Just try to reframe it from your perspective. Like on your hiring page right now, looking for those Java software engineer openers, like opening roles, and you can mention that just like there are little things that you can mention that to be more specific that are going to take your email from, let's say, level 5 to level 7. One of those things is this: you can mention how many months the role has been opened if you see that information. You can mention who is also on that team, so who's the hiring manager, what people are in the current team. So you can say like, hey, notice you're hiring, like, hey, just notice that Oracle is hiring, or like, hey guys, just notice you guys are hiring 2 new Java software engineers to Alan's team. And then if I done that extra research, so like I can say like you've been hiring for 2 months to Alan's team, I bet Yuri and Emmy are going to be so happy when you got actually when you actually hire those 2 people. So this kind of I bet technique really helps you to pack all the research that you found from a different source. So that's one thing. Second thing, I would ditch that kind of. I recently spoke with a few candidates who have similar experience. Just say like, hey, I know 2 people who are fitting the role really well. The one is working at this company, the other one is working this. They both achieved success. The one helped IBM to go from this level to that. The second one is working at HP. They're responsible for this process. They're not openly like searching for jobs. But if I reach out, I think they might consider. Uh, do you think that shall I hey, shall I do an intro for you guys? And that's it. This is like I wouldn't say like, hey, let's connect in 2 weeks. Just say like, hey, I'll do that. I'll do the work. I'll show you and show when you say that you have a candidate, show why this is a good candidate. You can say like, hey, if that person has been working with Woodpecker, and let's say Woodpecker is hiring another sales rep. You can say, hey, this guy's been working at HubSpot. He crushed it in their DAC region, and I know you guys are expanding to more to Germany right now. I thought this would be a perfect fit. Like, let me know if I need to make an intro. So that's way better conversational like email that makes a lot of sense if you think about that.
Man, that's difficult to beat. I mean, you left zero room for me to add something because I loved everything that you mentioned. I agree with you. When you start reading this, besides the "I hope all is well," that trigger. I like the trigger email, right? Like trigger based email. Like I noticed this, or I noticed that, or I saw that, or I whatever. So at least the first line is like, "Hey, I know that something is going on in your business." But then if you just tell me, I noticed the trigger, and then we have this company, and we are doing this, and we are doing that, and again, the pitch slap appears. So try, if you have that trigger, enhance that trigger or leverage that trigger with a little bit more of personalization and research on top of that. Exactly as you were saying. I was about to mention the time of the opening role, and you mentioned it perfectly. That's a game changer. Like, hey, you opened it yesterday or you opened it 3 months ago. That changes everything, right? That means that either there's no rush, or you are looking for the perfect candidate, or maybe you forgot to close it. I don't know, but that 3 months is telling me something, right? So I'm just pointing that out, and little more, to be honest, because I think that that's perfect. One more thing now that I'm thinking is that the call to action. I hate this call to action that it says, "Hey, do you have time ever over the next week or 2 or 3 or 4 months or 1 year from now?" Be specific. What is over the next week or two? You're giving me homework like, hey, I have to go to my calendar, understand it this week or the following one. Or the problem that this arises or this gives is that if you go into the calendar and say, hey, you know what, I can in 13 days from now, most likely, and this is studied, this is a statistics as well. If you leave more than 5 labor days between the meeting booked and the calendar and the day that you booked that meeting, most likely that persona or the stakeholders that are joining the call, the prospect is going to no show you. So be specific. Hey, do you have some time Tuesday 3 p.m. or Wednesday 11 a.m. my time or your time or whatever the time it is to jump into a 15-minute call and talk about it. Be specific. Don't share your calendar. Don't ask for this week, the next one, or the following one, because as well that diminishes your level. Is like, hey, I'm super greedy and super desperate to have a call with you. I have time tomorrow at this time and the day after at this time. Is that okay with you? And so that's the only thing. On top of that, I loved everything that you mentioned.
Yeah, man. Thank you, and appreciate this kind of value add, especially from a data perspective on when to book meetings and stuff like that. Though I feel like it could be like when you're reaching out to C-level, it kind of almost a bet that they will not have a time for you this week, but like the next one may be a better bet. But yeah, I kind of get, and I'm up with you on this one. You have to book the meetings the sooner the better, because I see sometimes the meetings that I'm booking and I'm like, all right, I don't know why I even booked this meeting in the first place. Who's this guy? So I'm kind of like,
Exactly. That
so
happens a
that's the
lot.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, I think we do have time for a quick review of a better version of
Yeah.
an email.
Let's
And
go.
then we'll probably wrap this email. So sorry, guys, we didn't review those 4 messages yet. But this is a better message that was sent also, not by me, but from another person. And I actually know that that person booked meetings after receiving this message. And so we're gonna go over this and say what we would change and kind of also give our thoughts how maybe we would make it better. But so if I were to start, I generally say like this: I like the subject line, but I don't like when there are 2 questions per email for such a short email, because it kind of creates a friction which one to answer. But if I were to change that, ever wondered if it'd be awesome to have a list of profiles to follow that who follow your competitors? I would just change it to, hey, like, hey, Alan, I can give you the list of followers who are following, and I would be more specific on, instead of your competitors, I would be more specific as like, who are they following? And that's it. And then they'll say like, hey, we scrape any company followers to spreadsheet, then we target them as their and so you can target them in your outreach campaign for test base. Interested? That's the only change maybe that I would make here.
Mhm. All right. So now that I'm reading this and I know the guy that you're referring to, or I can assume I know the guy.
Patrick?
Yeah, exactly. Is that right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it's
him.
Patrick.
All
We
right.
actually had
Yeah,
an
so
event with Patrick, and he sent me this
yeah,
email.
last time. Yeah, I know. So I mean, and this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of sales. There's no way that we can react to the same way to same email, and that's why this is super difficult at some point. There's no like a specific science behind it, because I have no problem with the 2 questions in the same email, and you don't feel that comfortable with it. And again, and we have the same, at least some background, similar background in terms of how to write an email. What I would do here is when he's using the word awesome, he's trying to pull some emotions to the email, and I like that. Like, hey, how do you feel if I can give you this? Like, would you feel enthusiastic? Would you feel great? Would you feel awesome? Would you feel frustrated? How do you feel? And that's where you drive something into the email. So what I would do here is like, hey, for example, like if I should change the question and I will still keep a question in the first line, something that I'm using a lot is, are you struggling with pain point? So in this case, hey, Yuri, are you struggling with finding or scraping your competitor followers in a single way, or in a simple way, or in a one click, or in something like that? Or how are you managing to scrape your competitor followers? And even more, you can put the name of a competitor if you do your research in an extra mile, right? Like the question is a yes or no question, right? It's like, how are you managing with how it's like right now I'm doing it this way, or are you struggling with? And it's a yes or no question. The reason I'm asking is because we can scrape data off XYZ competitor of yours in just one click, and I created a 20 email or 20 whatever it is sample for you to send it over. Interested in that? Or mind if I send it over? Something like that, like, hey, you are feeling something. The reason I'm asking that is because I can solve that feeling, or I can give you that feeling, depending on which feeling are you talking about. And I already created that. Would you like to receive that gift from me? That's one way. And the other way, exactly as you were saying, avoiding questions and go straight to the point. Like, hey, this is how we can solve this specific challenge that the industry is having with our solution. Let's check it out. Right.
Yeah. I'll actually share a little bit more, because as a sales leader, I used to get a lot of emails that like, hey, we can show your competitors' clients. Like, so every time my response was this: all right, cool. Can you guys give me the 20 or like 10 customers of Woodpecker? Like,
Exactly.
they're reaching out to me. I was like, all right, cool. Like, just give me, if you are so good, just give me 10 customers of Woodpecker. Who are Woodpecker's customers? And then based on that, I'm able to see how
The
are they
quality.
working.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And actually, I think one of those companies out of hundreds of those messages actually sent me the list of our like sample for clients, and there were some from the website, some were not our clients. One was actually a hidden client, so they did kind of okayish job. So, but most of the time, my reaction, and if you want to make this super clear, I would even end this email like, hey, if you'd be open to exploring it, I can send you like a list of 10 test base. I'll send like a list of test base followers, so you can see that I'm not like lying here or something. So just go for that extra mile always.
Yeah,
All
won't
right.
disagree. Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're wrapping this up. This event it's been really cool. It's been really cool. We still have one question maybe to respond. And Alan, I'll just ask it to you, man.
Sure.
This question. Because okay, isn't this question that you've asked me?
Yeah,
Like, how would you
this was the previous one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
okay,
don't know
cool.
if
All
you
right.
had another one. Yeah.
No, not that.
All right.
So all right. Well, now this is the place for you, Alan, to, and I kind of, I'll say it once again because maybe Alan don't want to don't want to repeat himself. But you guys seen yourself how cool of a value Alan provides with his tips. I just say to you that you'll get way more of that value if you just go with this program Modern Seller. Like, if somebody's working that for a couple of months, specifically took time off for that, so it's just going to be valid. Like, I'm constantly learning while I'm on the calls with Alan, and this is not my first time meeting with Alan, and we've been on this journey for a long time, and he always stays on top and been relevant. So I highly recommend checking it out, his program. Also, guys, remember about the Woodpecker trial link. If you want to send some emails, if you want to have some good templates, and you want to send it out, Woodpecker is probably the best tool in the market to make sure that you're delivering those emails into the inbox. We're also the only tool right now that figured out the open rate changes, and we're actually tracking the open rates properly with all of those changes, while other tools are still figuring out. So that's kind of, we're staying on top of the game. But yeah, other than that, thank you for stopping by. It's a Thursday, for Europe, late evening, for US early mornings. Thanks for stopping by here. We appreciate you. Alan, do you want to say something from your
No,
side?
just thank you again for having me in this second round. I know that this won't be the last one, so I'm super excited to join any other time, as many as you want, as many as you need. I'm super happy to. I mean, I enjoy these kind of sessions, so they are great. And if we can add some value to the people, that's awesome. Thank you for pointing my program. I encourage everyone to join. I'm not going to sell here, but yeah, everyone that wants to give it a try, be my guest. And if we can be of value, just found us on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and see you next time. Bye bye. Boom.